It's my pleasure to be a very big thank you to the organizers for putting this together. Please, I am of your phone. Yeah, so you're all welcome to Gophercon Africa 2025. I'm David Aniebo, a software engineer in Telesat Mentally. So my responsibilities at Mentally involve writing automated tests to ensure software system meet the required specifications and the standard. Yeah. So today, I'll walk you through behavior-driven development in code as automating acceptance criteria with GoDog. Let's go. Yeah, so I walk you through what BDD, the core principles of BDD, that's the basis of BDD, the collaboration in BDD, and also behavior-driven development in Go, how to write scenarios in GoDog, and setting up and running your GoDog environment. Yeah, so let's get started. Yeah, this is a very famous quote by Fred, which says the hardest single part of building a software system is deciding what to build. Yeah. So when we build software system, it's writing code isn't the hardest part. To be honest, the hardest part is knowing exactly what the user needs us to build, like what they need, right? Because most projects don't fail because of bad code, but they do because of misunderstood requirements, whereby we have developers that are thinking about that thing, and designers, they have their own perspective about the product's idea, and also the business analysts, the product owners have their own perspective about the project. Yeah, so this creates kind of misconception when building the software. And let's take, for example, you're asked to build a simple login feature. That sounds easy, right? Very, very simple. But there are a lot to be considered when doing this. And for example, now, should the user log in with username or email? Or the user should log in with Google or Microsoft? Or should we leave the session forever? Or should we close the session after 30 minutes? What happens when the user tries to tell the password for 3 times? I mean, these are the kind of scenarios and states that leaves the software development team in kind of like a room thinking, okay, what are we to build? And behavior-driven development was created to solve this problem. And when Fred says the hardest single part of building software system is that what to build, it's not kind of like warning us about the code, but warning us about clarity, like the problem needed to be solved. And let's see how BDD was created to solve and help us with this problem here. Yeah, so the first step here is what's BDD? And BDD is an acronym for behavior-driven development, and it's a way software team work that closes the gap between business team and the technical team. For example, we've all worked on a project because of miscommunication, like no proper clarity. Let's say code we work on for days had to be thrown away. And this kind of thing now, how can we stop this wasted effort and wasted time? So BDD help us in this way because with behavior-driven development, you build the software using concrete examples. You are actually describing the feature or the scenarios and the problem we want to solve. And let's take for example now, you want to build a payment system whereby we want to stop user from entering like an invalid credit card details. Yeah, so we call it acceptance criteria. Most of the software development team or condition of satisfaction, because that's what the software must do for the stakeholders to find it acceptable, right? And this is harder than seeing behavior will help us. And let's say we want to build, for example, now let's go like a proper scenario where we are doing the software system for a payment system, for example. We don't want users to enter invalid credit cards. And when they do what happens, we want to display an error message or like a model or a pop-up saying that okay, you entered a wrong credit card or credit card detail invalid or something like that. Yeah. I mean, with this now, we have room to think, to imagine ourselves using the system. Like we are thinking from user perspective, right? So that's when we say behavior driven help us to build a shared understanding of the problem to be solved. Because here we involve the business team, we involve the development team, and we also involve the testing team. Yeah, it also helps us to improve feedback loops and enhance the flow of delivered value. Because when it comes to behavior driven development, the main aim is delivering a valuable software, a working software. We are solving the problem from user perspective, not what we understood, but what needed to be solved. Yeah, it also helps us to produce system documentation and check the system behavior, because I mean, we all have our scenarios written down and we can go through each of the scenarios step by step. And okay, product owners, designers, developers, this is our single source of truth when it comes to this particular feature. We know what we want and not like we're just doing it on vibes. I know right now we have a lot of fun coders here with us. Yeah. So the next one is the core principle of VGD, like the phases. We have like 3 phases of behavior driven development. The first one is discovery, like what it could do, what the software system could do. And the discovery phase whereby it's a conversation between the business team and the technical team. Because here they come together, they explore, they discover, and they agree as much as they can on the problem needed to be solved. Yeah, so that's like the first stage, because it's helped them to imagine the software as a user, and it also minimize the amount of time we spend on meeting, but maximize the amount of time we spend on producing valuable codes. The next one is the formulation stage, and this is basically what the software system should do. So here we get to like create stage on what this software should do. Let's say we call it the acceptance criteria. Yeah, because after the discovery phase, you get to like write it down using scenarios, and the last one is the automation phase, what it actually does. So here the software team, like the testers, the development team comes together to ensure, okay, this particular system meets the required standard and specification. So what all this does, basically, they create like a shared understanding and like a shared language and mutual understanding between the software team. So we have collaboration in BDD, and in behavior-driven development, we have what we call the 3 amigos. So the 3 amigos, they are the business team, which involve like the product owner, the product analyst, or the business analyst. We also have like the development team, the software developers, and we also have like the testing team, the QA engineer, the testers, the manual QA, and all of that. So the business analyst come here is an ask question like, is my analysis correct? Right? Because here we're having like a conversation between the software team. Because BD is not just like because most often time people think BD is a testing methodology, like only testers should involve in the BD process. But no, software development is a cooperative game of invention and communication. Yeah, because I mean with BD now, we stop using phrase like it works on my machine. But we use it like it works for everyone understanding. Yeah, we are all involved in the whole software development process. Yeah, so when the business analyst asks this question, the next person is like the developer. How do we build this? Because I mean, most of the time, developer is coding, the designer is designing, and most time we get like just dump our code one side because maybe the designers come up with a new flow that we didn't even have it during the whole software development process. Yeah, so the developer will how we bring like the implementation plan on how to solve the problem, and the testing team there, what is the expected behavior if something happens, like what can go wrong. Basically checking, okay, this meets the required standard, the specification being outlined during the formulation stage in the behavior driven process. So we all have how this collaboration how they happen in behavior-driven development. So here we have like the product owner and users have a communication together because we are trying to build the software from user perspective. We also have the product owner, the developer, the testers elaborate to the requirements. They define the requirement as structured scenarios. Here we are writing our scenarios down. step by step, like a simple login feature. You go to the login page, you have the email input field, you have the password field, you have the sign-in button, and we also have like different sign-in options like signing with Microsoft, signing with signing with Google, and more, which we have during the whole foundation stage. And we also have like the scenarios guide the developers and act as automated tests. Because as a developer now, you know the problem you need to solve. You know how the software system should work. And the last one, the testers uses these scenarios as the basics for their test. I mean, we have this, we are just writing tests to ensure, okay, this checks, everything works as expected. So let's dive in behavior-driven development in Go. Yeah, we have GoDog, which is the official Gophercon framework for Golang. I mean, Gophercon is being used in JavaScript. We have the Gophercon JS, but that's like the framework for Golang, the GoDog. So it merges our specifications, the scenarios with the program, with the code itself. And GoDog uses plain language scenarios in the format of given, when, and then. So why GoDog? It just helps us as a single source of truth. It's helps us like a living documentation on when building the software. Also focus on the customer because we are building the software from using the user perspective. There are writing scenarios in GoDog. So GoDog is a domain-specific language called Gherkin, and Gherkin uses this simple, plain language. So, okay, the business team you understand, the development team and the testing team you understand. So it's quite straightforward, given when then. That's it for writing BDD. Given set up the initial conditions or states, when describe the actions or implement that can occur. So given we are on the login page, when you enter the password and the email address, then we should be redirected. Then we should be redirected and click the login sign. Then we should be redirected to that web page or where you want to keep users after the whole signing flow and add further details or conditions for clarity. Yeah, because the whole validity is all about clarity and alignment in software things. So when writing there are a lot of things there. We have the first one, which is the feature file itself. So the purpose of the feature keyword is to provide a high level description of the software system, what the system should. And that's like the first primary keyword. So right here now we have like we want to build a payment system. I use this simple one, the ATM withdrawal feature, for example. Our ATM allows the depositors to withdraw their funds in cash. That's the description, that's the flow, that's the feature you want to do. As simple as that, straightforward. I mean, we don't have any misconception when reading the whole feature. So the next one is the background. So background are like the preconditions, like steps, whereby every scenario in a feature uses, it reduces repetition. So for example now, the ATM, given the ATM is operational and the depositor has an active account. So when we are testing other scenarios, we don't have to keep on repeating these and creating redundant states or scenarios. So we just have like a background in the feature that helps us to keep like a precondition, things that must happen before we can get started with the flow. So we have the next one, rule. Most of the time I don't use the rule, but it helps the team to stay aligned. So the rule here is withdrawal limit. Withdrawals are limited by the amount of deposits. I mean, you don't want to withdraw what you don't have in your account. Withdrawals are subject to daily transaction withdrawal limits. Cash is dispensed in $10 increment with $20 reward. Yeah. You also have the scenarios. So this is like the feature itself, like what we are building. So here we are checking for sufficient funds allowed successful withdrawal. So this describes a situation or behavior of the application, illustrating how the feature behave under certain conditions. So given the depositor has 2,000 on deposit here, when the depositor requests $200, the ATM dispenses 200, then the depositor's balance reduced to $1,800. I mean, we are checking the feature. It's not like when we are writing test cases, we click on the button like normal UI flow. But here we are testing the feature. It doesn't have to be front end test, back end test. But here we have like a proper validation of the feature. We have the next one is scenario hardline, which allows us to use placeholders and provide example of scenarios with varying data. Like just we are testing like different conditions. What could happen? Let's say you're working to a bar now and you are like, okay, give me 2 bottles of this. Next time you say, give me 3 bottles, 4 bottles. How do they like bring the bottles to you? Do they carry it or how do they like present it to you? So basically that's like we are checking like different conditions, how they operate in certain conditions and yeah. So this is how the future file looks like, right? So everything is in plain English. We here now a business owner can write behavior-driven development, a designer can write behavior-driven development scenarios, and also like the testing and the development team can also write behavior-driven development scenarios. So we will have like a lot of our scenarios now. Like these features cover the ATM withdrawal feature we spoke about. So this is how it all works behind the hood. So we have like different scenarios, and when you are doing as a developer, I mean, you don't want to waste your time writing code that maybe at the end of the day we don't deploy. So this covers us and give us clarity and alignment with the stakeholders and also the business team. Yeah, so basically you have setting up GoDog. Yeah, so the next thing you just have like a folder on your machine. You make a directory, let's say GoDog or you call it anything. Next thing now you change the directory. After that, you initiate the Go modules inside the directory with these commands. Very easy. And also you get to like get the GitHub code out in your machine. So you create the feature file, which holds all your feature, how the software system will work. You also have the step definition here, which matches your specification with the actual code. This is like a simple structure of how like the file tree, how your GoDog program should look like. So this is the feature file. This is what I tried reading. We describe our feature in plain text. So here it's basically about account maintenance. I have a new account. The account balance must be $0 a year as a new user. Deposit money into account. Even I have an account with $0, I deposit $5 USD. Account balance must be $5. Yeah. Withdraw money from accounts. I have an account with $11. I withdraw 5. Then I should have the balance, because when you are reading, you know, okay, this is what you are. This is the code you are writing as a developer, because it's our acceptance criteria for us to meet the requirement. Okay, we've covered all the scenarios, and the tester will still write tests to cover these scenarios as well. And when the designer is designing, the person is just giving us like a user flow that meets everything we've already outlined. Next one is the steps definition. So this flow connects your scenario and your programming together. So we have like the first one here, we initialize our account balance. We have a new account. So you have like the second one, add the given amount to the current balance, and add the given amount to the current account. Yeah, so this is like where you write your code test, your code step definition. We still the same thing here. We attempt to withdraw a specific amount, check the account balance, the expected value, and also we verify that the previous step recorded an error. Yeah, so this is like basically your step definition, what you want the software system to do when you are writing the automated as a developer or as a tester. Yeah, so here we are mapping our corresponding Go step functions, configure and run the GoDog. So basically, if you want to try this, like I have a simple, so this is my step definition here. So this is where I put down all my steps. Let's say exactly. I have a new account, so I call this function which I declared. I have an account with it's like an integer, can be any value from 0 to 9. I have an account with amounts. Yes, I deposit this amount. I have the method. So here I'm mapping my feature with my steps together. And here you have the feature files. I mean, with this now, anybody in the team can write scenario. Even someone that doesn't even know how to use VS Code can just you can create a file for the person. Just go give us what you want the system to do. Just tell us. Yeah, just to get everyone aligned. So basically, if I want to run this, let's say go test, it doesn't feel the same, it's not the demo. Yeah, okay. So we have this here. Given I have an account with $11, so that's that's my step. Everything ran and it was successful because we all matched the feature and the step together. Yeah, everything passed. You can see, okay, here we are calling our tests. We are calling this particular step, and I mean, then we have the benefit of using BDD, enhanced communication among teams, alignment with business goals, fewer defects, and I've heard a lot of feedback going back and forth. We also help us create a living documentation, also easier refactoring. You can go back to our scenario when we have any changes and just apply them. And yeah, so that's the end of my talk, and basically the conclusion. Behavioral development just a tool to help teams stay together. It's a communication tool, like just to put everyone on the same page to avoid wasting time and also maximize the time we spend producing quality software. Thank you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as David Aniebo, on X, formerly known as Twitter, webmechanic_. And it was nice meeting everyone, and thank you for joining my talk.